Welcome to the Dermatology Studio with Dr. Yusra Ayaz.
Syphilis. You've probably heard the name, but it's got this long, really complex, and often misunderstood history. It's famously been called the Great Imitator because it can look like so many other diseases. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down for you. What it is, how it works, and exactly why its timeline is so incredibly deceptive.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to start with the absolute basics, the organism itself. Then we'll dive into what it's actually doing inside the body. After that, we'll follow its journey through the three main clinical stages and map out a really detailed timeline. And finally, we'll zoom in on that very first sign of infection, which is so often missed. Let's get right into it.
All right, let's dive right in with the fundamentals. To really get a handle on how syphilis operates, we've got to know what it is, who it tends to affect, and the tools we use to actually see it. Okay, so the culprit here is a corkscrew-shaped bacterium called Treponema pallidum. Now, it's gone by a few names over the years, like the Great Pox, but the one you really need to remember is the Great Imitator. And that nickname is so important because its symptoms can mimic a ton of other illnesses, which makes it super tricky to diagnose. Data shows it's more common in males, but it can affect anyone. And to actually see this thing, you need special tools, like a Levati silver stain on a tissue sample or dark field microscopy to view the live organism. So, we've met the bad guy. Now what does it actually do when it gets inside your body? Well, its effects on our tissues and blood vessels change. A lot, as the infection moves from its early stages to its late stages. So, in the early days, your body knows something's wrong, and it puts up a fight. We see immune cells rushing to the scene, and the inner lining of your blood vessels starts to thicken up. But if the disease gets the upper hand and progresses, the damage becomes way more specific and, frankly, way more severe. This leads to two pretty distinct features: these destructive growths called gummas, and a dangerous inflammation of the arteries known as Heubner arteritis. So you're probably asking, what on earth is a gumma? Well, think of it as a soft, tumor-like growth. But it's not cancerous. It's basically a mass of inflamed tissue made up of different kinds of cells. These things are a classic sign of late-stage syphilis, and they can pop up almost anywhere in the body: skin, bone, even your internal organs. And that brings us to the other big problem in the late stages. Heubner arteritis is when your arteries get inflamed and thickened, especially the ones in your brain and your heart. This narrowing chokes off blood flow. And that leads to some of the most devastating complications of syphilis, things like strokes or even aortic aneurysms.
Now, this progression, from that early inflammation to the serious late-stage damage, it doesn't just happen randomly. The disease actually unfolds over three very distinct clinical stages, and each one has its own set of signs and symptoms.
So it all starts with the primary and secondary stages. This is when the infection is contagious, and this phase can last for a good 2 to 4 years. Then things get weird. The disease can go into a latent stage where it's basically dormant, no signs, no symptoms for a really long time, sometimes 5 to 15 years. But if it's left untreated, it can then roar back to life in the late or tertiary stage, and that's when the chronic and most severe damage really happens.
This table right here, it's a fantastic cheat sheet for how this thing escalates. Just look at the pattern. It starts out really localized in the primary stage, just a single skin lesion, maybe some swollen lymph nodes nearby. Then, bam! In the secondary stage, it goes systemic. It just explodes with widespread rashes, hair loss, fever, the whole shebang. And then, if it reaches that tertiary stage, the damage gets really deep and targeted, causing those gummas we talked about, along with severe problems in the cardiovascular and nervous systems.
All right, this next part is maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, the timeline. Because how long all of this takes is, well, it's pretty shocking. Let's map it out, right from the moment of infection.
So the clock starts ticking the moment someone's infected. The incubation period is pretty wide, anywhere from 9 to 90 days. The first actual sign, that primary sore, usually pops up around the 3-week mark, and that's followed by swelling in the lymph nodes. The rashes that signal that secondary stage start appearing around 8 weeks to 3 months. And get this, a blood test might not even be able to detect the infection for the first 5 or 6 weeks.
Okay, and this is where things get really, really sneaky. That initial sore, the chancre, it actually heals all by itself in just 3 to 8 weeks. And that is so dangerous because it gives a totally false sense of security. It makes you think you're in the clear, but you're not. The bacterium is still in there. The infection then slips into that latent, dormant phase, a period that can last for up to 20 years with no symptoms at all. Think about that.
The disease is just hiding in plain sight. And then, years or even decades later, those devastating tertiary symptoms can emerge, the Gumata destroying tissue, and aortitis weakening the heart. This massive, silent delay is what makes syphilis so insidious and what truly earns it that title of the Great Imitator. All right, for our last section, let's zoom all the way in on that very first clinical sign we mentioned, the primary chancre, because understanding what it looks and feels like is absolutely critical for catching this disease early.
Okay, so this is the textbook description, but let's translate it into plain English. Indurated just means it's firm, almost like a little button you can feel under the skin. It has a clean, regular border. It's not jagged. But the most important word here, the one word to remember, is painless. Because it doesn't hurt, it's incredibly easy to just ignore it or not even notice it's there. And then it goes away, maybe leaving a faint little scar while the infection silently moves on to its next stage.
So we come full circle, right back to that nickname, the Great Imitator. After seeing how it can hide for decades and show up with so many different symptoms, that name makes perfect sense, doesn't it? And this leaves us with a really critical question. Knowing this, knowing how it can hide in plain sight for decades, how does that change everything? How should we approach public health, from diagnosis to education, when a disease can be this patient and this deceptive? It's a challenge that's still very central to medicine today.
Thanks for watching. Hit like, share, and subscribe to the Dermatology Studio. Ask your skin queries in the comments below.